Okay, this thing here, if you've got one of these brown semi-autos, this design is really too big for my IR flash unit that I use on here. And I've said this a whole bunch of different times. I print on this automatic like I would if I was still on my manual. I don't print like you automatic guys do. I'm having to hand turn manual flood print, manual flash countdown time to get the white on twice all the way around, and I don't cut anything else back on till nothing's tacky, because some days this thing wants to tack. I don't care what you do. But you know you can manually print from each head. I'm counting down something like 12, 13 seconds. And right now I'm not getting too much of a flash on the underbase. Everything's in 230s except for the white. I've got it in a 180. And there's 4 different areas of different type halftones, with some negative and some positive. Then after I get back around this time now, I'll cut everybody else on. I'll cut 3 through 6 on, and I can work my way all the way out of it without it doing more than just like a little bit more than a kiss pop. It's aggravating, but it works. There's one thing I did want to add, and anybody that prints knows this, but if you don't have a good base, smooth and not tacky, sometimes you're right dead on the edge, but not where to come off on your finger. On this semi-automatic, if you want to print consistently good prints, it's about the only way that I have found to do it. So once you're sure about what's going on with the base and happy, then put your top colors on, and then go around twice to get ready and do it all again. Once your tables get good and warm, you can pretty much kind of move on through it. Okay, one thing I did forget to tell you now, on your last white, or on my machine anyway, I clean stroke that one, because mine's bad about when you go around the next time picking up on the bottom of the white screen. You know that looks like shit, especially on top of other colors. I've asked them if I could get this machine to where it would stop in the back with the screen clean versus in the front, and they said that the reason they made it this way was for water-based printers. And I told them I didn't know any water-based printers, but I knew a bunch of plastisol guys, and I'm a plastisol guy. They said they'd switch my EEPROM out for me for $400. So I've just fought it. I hadn't done it. Y'all know how cheap I am. Okay, here's the finished design. I got halftones up in the anvil. I make almost all of my gray now with black halftones. My guys like certain ones thick and bright, almost like the old bulletproof days, and that's what you're looking at right there. Okay, one last thing. See how I've got that white just barely touching out to the right side where it's got that little white out there, and all the artwork was all straight on top of each other. There's a lot of times that I'll take things and knock them barely off register, because I got a couple people that do really good art for me, and I'll even take it and bump it off a little bit register for a highlight. I do that probably more than I should. Okay, here's this same job. Then I'm putting on black sweatshirts. Anybody that's got a semi-brown knows everything you do, you push a button for. Even up in the display, I'll show you here in a couple minutes. Okay, these are on the sweats now. Like I said, I'm using an IR flash. You can see it right there. I've got a cooling fan half station, and since you can come to half station on the press, see, everybody's on right now except White. I've got him where he's clear so nothing picks up, and I forgot to cut 7 on. Hold on and I'll manual print 7. But even on these sweatshirts with IR hot, I'm like half an inch up off the sweat with an IR flash that I've got mounted on a screen frame. I can move it back and forth and up and down, and it's got a thermostat control on it. You guys are used to this. Go to manual. Manual print the black to bring yourself out of a mistake. A lot of times now, which the colors are pickup, that's not what it looks like. Man, don't that look good? Okay, now back what? Manual, go back to auto. I don't want one, and I know you real auto guys love this. Every time you change anything, you have to manually go through the parameters to go into automatic. But now for you real life auto guys, if you got a really strong manual printer and you're thinking about buying a new auto, if you've got the room and want to fool with it, a really good manual guy can kick some pretty good looking stuff out on this machine right here. And if you listen and look, so there's the shirt. If you listen and look, you can find these things. This is a 7/8, so I can print my full 6 colors, which I wasn't going to buy an automatic without that. So that means you can print 6. I can print my process. I can print my shim process. I've got one dedicated head that I've robbed parts off of. But even though it's not a real auto, you can print some stuff on this. And like I said, right now, you're looking at, I've seen them for $6,000, $7,000. I've seen them all the way up to $13,000, $15,000, which is way too high for the year of this machine. Okay, I got to finish these shirts up. Last things a lot of you guys give me crap about is my spray gun, because you're saying it's overspray, which it is a little. But now remember, now this is a paint gun. It's not an aerosol gun. You can adjust the pressure. You can adjust the flow rate and put it pretty much right where you want it at. Normally, I'm not today, but normally anytime I'm spraying anything and anything in my shop, it's got a fan on it, it's got air filter on it. If you used to do that for 1 month, you'd wonder why in the world you ever didn't do it from day one. Okay, now my little smiley face, smart aleck thing. You know when you're doing them right on this machine, because everything gets in time, just like an embroidery machine or an automatic, or in time with this machine here, it puts the dogs to sleep. When they wake up, you've done something wrong. Okay, another thing just for us semi-owners, when I'm coming out of the job, I know you're supposedly be able to program it to come on and go off, but instead of having to go back through everything or take the chance of running them around, I still flashed the same time that I was flashing coming out of the job to make sure that I still get the same break on the screens that I was getting when I was running, instead of jerking everything up just as soon as it prints. Okay, one more thing now about coming out of the job. And believe me, if you're printing on one of these and you don't have your arms numbered, you're a lot more of a person than I am. But keep up with like where you're at, even though I'm on 7. You know, when you're doing the regular numbers now, get used to when you get to a number you're using, you have to do something to that number on the display, which I'm sure most of you already know. But if it's one guy that doesn't know this, it's a big time saver. It's as much of a time saver as it is printing one size on this thing, going back there picking them shirts up then and not having to look at all the damn necks. Like I said, I am lazy. Okay, regardless of where you're at, because you physically know where the last shirt was, go through and cut that one off when you're coming through. on the last shirt, I used to just run around and manual everything. But I don't want to walk that far. Okay, another smiley face, smart aleck thing here. You have to be able to count to see where you're at when you're coming down, so you don't print a overly tacky palette, because you'll probably bust a screen. But I think everybody calls it dry printing or printing a palette. But I mean, get real. In this job, the only thing you really got to do to run your own business is be able to count to 12, because it seems like nobody else on the planet can.